What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Lion King, the new version, directed by Jon Favreau, who I would imagine got this gig after doing the Jungle Book remake, where it's not, and I mean it's animated. It's animated to look live action, right? So it's fake animals and I think fake backgrounds. This one, there's no kid involved. So I would imagine the Jungle Book, as far as difficulty level, was up here. But yeah, the new Lion King, I had heard good things going into this. There was a buzz from movie media and bloggers that made me feel like this was going to be a good remake, as opposed to the Aladdin remake, which was dog shit. It was horrible, horrible. And this one is definitely better. The Lion King definitely turned out better than Aladdin, but still not up to the level of the original. I thought it looked beautiful. The movie looked beautiful. The animation, for the most part, was beautiful. I have huge problems with the characters as far as the animation goes. If you were to compare this movie to the Planet of the Apes trilogy that recently came out, and you look at the kind of character design for each of those apes and how unique they were to kind of distinguish one ape from another ape, so they're not just all clones of each other. And then you look at this movie, and it's pretty much the same. Like, there's not a whole lot of different character design necessarily. The voices, James Earl Jones comes back, but for whatever reason does not fit with the lion that he's voicing now. There's just no character there. The animation in this, although looking very photorealistic at times, had like zero heart to it. It was like the most bland, empty, like nothing kind of thing to do. The only parts of this that worked were the voice actors, and like the characters worked were Timon and Pumbaa. I mean, by far the best part of this movie, one of the best parts of the original as well, but at least they knocked it out of the park with that. Watching the movie, I was extremely bored. I was falling asleep throughout the movie. I don't know if I actually did fall asleep, but it was just like a combination of scenes that were so identical to the original, and then other scenes that just looked like they just didn't. They just. This movie is the pinnacle of mediocrity. The pinnacle of mediocrity with a gigantic budget. Jon Favreau, let me just say, hugely talented. Huge. I think he's a very proficient director. I think what he's trying to do with this kind of live action animation, I can't imagine that being an easy feat to be a director for, to put a movie like this together. But it's still, I mean, you're going up against one of the best animated classics of all time, and although it got close, it fell short. I remember before going to see this, I looked at Rotten Tomatoes, and it was like 58. And I was so nervous going in, because it wasn't. I think I enjoy Aladdin as a kid more than this one. I believe it's they're very close, these two movies. As a child growing up with Disney movies, The Lion King and Aladdin, I believe, head to head. I think this one was a little bit better. The new song that they added in this one, as there were new songs in the Aladdin version, was weak. Like their songs that they're coming up with are weak sauce compared to the original songs. The performances are different in this one. They didn't go with a bunch of white people to voice everything and to sing the songs. Definitely more diverse casting, more accurate casting, and the singing, like more authentic. They clearly learned and took from adapting this to the stage and then back. So it feels like it took a lot from there. It felt like the original songs were short. It felt like some of the original moments where the musical moments happened were shorter. But overall, just the performances of these they're animated. They can look and do like whatever. I mean, I understand it's different. Like an ape's face is very similar to a human's face. So in Planet of the Apes, the animators had the actors' faces and facial expressions to work off of when animating. I would imagine the animators could do something similar to that, but there was there's just no, it was very, very close. It was closer to just being a puppet, being able to just open and close its mouth, than it was to an expressive character. Far more like a puppet. And even if it were a puppet, it didn't have the movement that a puppet would need to have to give it some life. Like, all of these characters felt so dead. Felt just dead. They didn't feel real. It looked like I was watching Planet Earth, but I know I'm watching, I don't know. It seems like they were trying to do a bunch of trendy shit. You know, Jon Favreau's good at this thing. Let's put him on this big property. It's like, let's cut the music short. Let's add these other scenes. It's just, I don't know. It's like they took good things and they fucked with it. I would rather Disney do this, do a remake, as opposed to what the original dude that made Star Wars, what's that fuckhead's name? Where he just goes back and redoes all of his old stuff, so you can't really even see the original Star Wars. You're seeing the fourth version that he's kind of fucked with, which it's like imagine an artist just going into a museum every 10 years and putting a few new strokes of paint over their work. It's like, no, just do more. Like, I understand that's the only good thing you've ever directed in your life, and out of the series, all the ones that you've directed are horrible. But don't go back and fuck with your shit. Just make better new shit. Learn from your mistakes and do the next thing better. That's how you grow, not by going back and constantly trying to patchwork, Band-Aid up something you don't like. It's don't release it if you're not finished with it. But Jon Favreau, at least Disney, I guess, is doing the double, triple, quadruple dips. They're making billions upon billions of money. It's ridiculous. I'm scared that Disney owns everything, all properties from my childhood. Disney owns cinematic childhood memories now, from movie franchises to animated to all this different shit. And now they're putting out this kind of crap, and it's what happens when one company owns everything. Maybe we shouldn't let media companies get to a point where they own everything, and we can have some diversity of ideas, and not everything have to be freaking bleached out to not offend anybody, and to be overly concerned with pretending to be woke in certain situations to get the millennial dollar. Why don't you just focus on putting out good art instead of just trying to repackage childhoods? Disappointed. Not a horrible movie. They should have just made a Timon and Pumbaa movie, and have the Donald Glover as the older Simba. Enjoyed him. The younger Simba, it was whatever. I don't know. Just that, so much of it. Even James Earl Jones not being it just not fitting that lion. Just I was so out of this movie for so much of it, and I almost fell asleep for a lot of it. So go watch it if you want to waste money. For sure, rent it or whatever, but it's not. Go watch the original. Way better. New episodes of this show come out every day, The Ray Taylor Show. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com. Over 800 original paintings for sale there. And you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED at checkout. Follow me on all social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!